What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. We have a lot to talk about. Ohtani, he was quite literally born and molded for these moments. He hit another clutch home run, like the clutchest of all home runs. Paul Skeens was on the bump again, and he lowered his career ERA to 1.92 after yet another disgusting start. Trouty, he blasted away for his first home run, but a Cardinals catcher did something that no Cardinals catcher has ever done before. Torpedo bat Volpe is trying to save the Yankees with his short porch special, and Rafael Devers, the curse might finally be lifted. He got his first base hit of the year. So we'll talk about all of that and more in today's recap. And don't forget that recap is brought to you by SeatGeek. Save yourself 20 bucks off all of your tickets using code Fuzzy. And if you think you know ball, put your knowledge to the test on Underdog Fantasy. Download it using code Fuzzy. They'll give you a free pick'em up to $1,000 in bonus cash. All you have to do is choose higher or lower. And that's it. Thank you guys for letting me pay the bills. Let's get the recap started. So before we show all of the games from yesterday, I want to talk about the three brand new extensions. We have Jackson Merrill, Kristian Campbell, and Ketel Marte all getting some money. Jackson gets a 9-year extension. Right now it's at $135 million guaranteed, but it can get up to a big boy contract of $204 million if everything pans out with incentives and escalators. We have another young star getting paid, or should I say star in the making. 22-year-old Kristian Campbell only gets I put that in air quotes, it's still a ton of money, but 8 years, $60 million. Now, just like Jackson, there are incentives and escalators based off all-star appearances and stuff like that, but that's a crazy good deal that people are comparing to Ronald Acuna Jr., who got $100 million over 8 years after having a crazy good rookie season. So people are saying that the Red Sox, they got a great deal in Kristian Campbell. They just got Garrett Crochet for the next 7-8 years. Like, shout out to the Red Sox. They're putting their money in the right places right now, and a lot of good things are happening for them. Same with the Arizona Diamondbacks over the last few seasons, and they just gave Ketel Marte $64 million in new money. So he had a deal in place already, which was kind of confusing because he was already locked up for the next few years, but he was rewarded for having an MVP type season last year with 36 home runs, a 135 OPS plus. He's one of the most complete players in baseball and gets about $65 million in new money. So all of these other owners who are crying for and saying that owning a baseball team is not a profitable endeavor, shut up. Spend money, win games, and you'll be all right. We have a trade to talk about. Ruiz is on the move. Remember, this guy stole 67 bags in 2023 before the rule changes. He was using smaller bases and he didn't have those pickoff rules. So again, he had 67 stolen bases, and he had a stretch that same season where over about 20 games, or 17 games I should be accurate, he hit 333 with 8 extra base hits and 12 stolen bases. We all thought the breakout was imminent, but I mean, it just didn't work out that way. We thought that it was imminent because he was once traded for Josh Hader, a big piece in that trade with the Brewers. Then he was shipped to the A's for Sean Murphy, so that's how highly touted he was. He was shipped for Hader and Murphy, but he showed a lot of holes in his game, most notably the strikeout issue, and he had some of the worst reads off the bat by any outfielder in baseball. Now, to their credit, I really feel like the A's did well in this trade. It could be a win-win when we look back at this trade a few years later. They get the 6'7" monster strikeout machine starting pitcher Carlos Duran. I'm not going to show every highlight he's ever had, but he looks like he could be good. So Dodgers get their guy, A's get their guy. Not bad. Without further ado, let's talk about the games from yesterday. Campbell and Crochet, they got their money, and they showed up in this game against the Orioles. By the way, is Devers waking up? We'll show that in a second. Trevor Story there, he is mashing a home run that probably doesn't leave if the Orioles didn't bring the walls back in this season. They even admitted that they brought in that wall so they could sign guys like Tyler O'Neill and Gary Sanchez. But obviously, opposing hitters now have access to that wall as well. Kristian, he sliced a double to right field. He didn't score on this one, but that's okay because he doubled again to the same spot. He is now leading the American League with 4 doubles. He's casually hitting 400 with the 500 on base. So obviously he's going to come back down to earth eventually. It's only been 6 games, but Rafaela and Rafi, they delivered right away. Sadon, he drove home Kristian, and then Devers, he finally found a barrel for his first hit of the season. Sadon, he turned on the Jets, then slowed down, but then turned them back on because the Orioles tried to get Devers at second base. I do want to show this for my Orioles fans because this was the only highlight for you guys the entire game. Cedric Mullins flew in for a web gem, and Garrett Crochet, he got paid a few days ago, and man, he carved. Maybe that newfound financial security will allow him to completely let loose. He goes 8 innings. I think that's a career best, and I think that's a career best by far. And it wasn't just any 8 innings. He goes 8 shutout with 8 strikeouts, only 1 walk allowed. Aroldis Chapman, he got his first save as a Red Sox. As the Boston Red Sox, they're trying to get back to 500. They're 2-4. The Orioles are now 500 at 3-3. You don't see this very often. Blake Snell gave up 5, but every single one of those runs was an unearned run. After a Max Muncy error, the Braves had RBI doubles from Nick Gallen and Ozzie Albies, so they're trying to end their losing streak, keep it at I think they'd be 1-6 or something like that. Matt Olson, he struck one the other way, this time a 2-run double. And you guys can't hear it, but it's rarely this quiet in Dodger Stadium. But Tommy tinks. He's going to try and pull the crowd back into it. Tommy Edman has 4 home runs this year. Michael Conforto hit one just a little bit further. He goes 419 after Edman went 415, and the Braves had to deploy their usual 9th guy in the 8th, which might seem unnecessary, but remember, Atlanta, they're 0-6. No team has ever made the playoffs starting 0-7. Rizal got tagged by Max Muncy, who made up for his early game error. That ties it at 5. Rizal, he's still out there. Ohtani on his own bobblehead night. He walks it off on the first pitch. He was built for these moments. The Dodgers are now 8-0, the best start ever in the history of baseball for defending champions. The Braves are 0-7, and I mean, I don't know if the season's over already, but the stats say it is, which is crazy. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Braves do have a comeback in their system. We know that the context is they are about to have Strider and Ronald back, but 0-7, and then the pop for Jurickson Profar, that is probably the worst start I've ever seen in my lifetime. The Padres are actually right there with the Dodgers. They can be 7-0 if they sweep the Guardians. We'll show that game after this one because there were only 2 little runs in the first 9 of this next game. Jackson Chourio just turned 21 years old. It's not easy to go yard off of Cole Reagans, but he did. Now, the Royals did get back to an even score, and that allowed Cole to lock all the way in. He had 10 strikeouts before the 5th even came to a close. He only allowed that 1 run. Freddie Peralta, he was sick as well after allowing a run. He retired 19 consecutive Royals to end his start. He has 8 strikeouts, 2 base hits. That's big for a Milwaukee staff who has been bullied all year now. We needed some free baseball. Jackson Chourio, he tied it after Kansas City went up. Bryce Terang scores, and an inning later, he's going to get a chance to walk it off. And what did that? Why is the pitcher throwing to first base? Just a clear example of not being ready for the moment. He had no idea how many outs there were. Maybe he was just trying to, I don't know what he was trying to do. The Brewers, they've won 2 games in a row. The Royals get a tough L. They needed 8 pitchers, and they still lost. Cleveland is playing some of the worst ball they've played in years, or maybe San Diego is just simply playing their best baseball. Nando, he literally stole the run in the first. He stole home. That's his 5th stolen base already. Manny Machado got blessed by a terrible throw from J-Ram, and it's now 2-0 Padres. And not for long, because Jackson Merrill, he won't stop proving that he's worth that money. He is a superstar. Like, I think we're ready to claim this guy as a superstar. He's played in 163 games. He has 32 doubles, 26 home runs, 98 RBIs, 16 stolen bases, a 132 OPS plus, 11 outs above average defensively. He's 21. Dylan Cease, more like Dylan sent the Guardians a cease and desist. Sorry about that, guys. I got to have a little bit of fun because my Guardians are making me very depressed. Cease had back-to-back strikeouts on the 5th. Then he froze Schneemann on a wild changeup, just floated it in there. He had 7 strikeouts over 6. But now it's easy to see why the Padres are doing so well to start the season. They have Jose Iglesias on their roster. He was the magic for the Mets last year. Now he's bringing that OMG magic to San Diego as Luis Ariz socked his first home run of the year. The Padres win another easy ball game. Ranger Suarez has 3 saves. The Padres just went 7-0 on their homestand to start 2025. Oh my lord. No, actually, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. took an elevator to the top floor to reach that pitch. He jumped on a Carlos Rodon fastball for a 2-run laser beam. The Diamondbacks added a few more in the second. The 2 guys who got extensions, Perdomo, he had a sac flying, and Ketel had a base hit past Anthony Volpe to score Gabriel Moreno. Zach Gallen, this wasn't just any Zach Gallen start. Like, the swing and miss stuff was maybe the best of his career. He had 5 pitches working. He made Judge look silly. He kept racking up the strikeouts, like strikeout after strikeout. He just misses going 7 scoreless. He struck out Aaron Judge 3 times, and he even struck out Jazz, which is probably cool for him because he was once traded for Jazz Chisholm. Remember, Zach was on the Marlins, and then he went to Arizona in that trade. Anthony Volpe's down now, so that's 13 strikeouts. You just got to tip your cap because when Zach Gallen's on, I mean, he's not giving up any runs. What is going on? Anthony, he ordered a short porch special 337 feet to bring it within 1. The Martian, he's going to get he chased. AJ Puck escapes by the hair on his little chinny chin chin. The Diamondbacks, they've now taken 2 in a row against the Yankees in the Bronx. You guys are about to see something that has quite literally never happened in the history of the St. Louis Cardinals franchise's history. Before that, Trouty, he's on the board. He golfed out a Sonny Gray meatball. So I guess you could say it was Sonny with the chance of meatball. Was that the book, Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs? I don't know. Ivan Herrera, he ambushed the first pitch that he saw. He walloped his first of 3 home runs. His second came later in the 6th. You say he was so close to a dominant start. It's just that he could not locate with Ivan at the dish. Sonny Gray sliced and diced. He had 2 strikeouts, only 2 base hits, just that 1 run to Mr. Trout, but he ruined his own gem. He loaded the bases for Logan O'Hoppe, and maybe it helped that he's Sonny Gray, so he's a veteran. He had that on his side, so he stayed in the game. But yeah, it did not work out for the Cardinals. That is a grand slam for Logan O'Hoppe, one of the best offensive catchers in the game. Now, lucky for Sonny, he's already off the hook as Wilson roped a 2-run double. Wait, it was 1 RBI. The second scored on an error. Now, he did get his second RBI pretty soon after that, and Burleson did the same thing as Wilson. He just watched 4 balls out the zone for an RBI walk with the bases loaded. Nolan, atta baby. I want him to get back to the 100 RBI, 130 OPS plus plateaus of Vaughn. Ivan Herrera went to Big Mac land. He's the first St. Louis Cardinals catcher ever with 3 home runs. Yadier Molina didn't do it. Mr. Wilson Contreras didn't do it. Ivan Herrera with the 1-of-1 game as a catcher in Cardinals history, which is crazy because the Cardinals, they've been playing baseball for a long time. Seiya Suzuki and the Cubs basically kept up with the Cardinals and what they did. I mean, we're already saying Seiya, a 3-run missile off the usually nasty Jeffrey Springs. I think that's the second game, by the way, where Seiya's had a 3-run home run. Now, Jeffrey Springs did kind of get hosed by his defense, a few misplays out there, and Matt Shaw, he took advantage. He knocks in Justin Turner. Seth Brown, he just kind of stinks out there in left field defensively. Brent, that was the only good thing that happened to the A's all game. He's got 3 home runs on the year. Seiya has 3 his last 24 hours. That's 7 RBIs his last 2 games. Nico Horner and PCA, they found some holes as well. Nico with the RBI single. PCA, he motors in for an RBI double, but the scoring did not end there. The rookie Matt Shaw grabbed an RBI in the 7th, and I guess Seiya, he now has 8 RBIs his last 2 games. The Cubs have won 3 games in a row, and they've outscored the A's 35-9 in this series. The A's aren't the only team kind of getting beat up. The Astros, I'm going to spoil it right now, they're on a 3-game losing streak. That's really because Wilmer Flores might actually hit 50 home runs. He's up to 4 home runs and 10 RBIs on the year. We all know Framber's nasty, but you just can't throw that to a lefty masher like Wilmer Flores. Luis Matos, it took a few seconds, but that was confirmed to be a solo home run. He's got some crazy pop. Elliot Ramos, goodness, bro. I think that's 6 consecutive games with an extra base hit to start the year. I had no idea that he was their leadoff hitter to score on that rocket double. Houston made it closer with the run in the 2nd, and then they got 2 more off the bat of Yordan Alvarez in the 5th, but to no avail. I've already spoiled it. Lamont Wade Jr., that's his first hit and first time getting on base this year. Some extra cushion for Camilo Doval, who is back out there. Maybe he's back on track. I don't know. It kind of seems like it. That's his 2nd save. The Giants are 5-1. Toronto is also trying to get to 5 wins. This W can put them at a 4-game win streak, just like the Giants. And this is unreal. Andres, he goes to the Blue Jays and becomes Roberto Alomar. He's got a brand new stance, a brand new approach, and so far it's been working wonders. It's just, okay, anyway, super weird sequence of events coming up. We have 2 more former Cleveland Guardians. Miles Straw, he sent one to deep center field. Cruz, he had it, then he didn't have it. Ernie, he had to go back, and then he had to go back again. He gets tossed out at home. Bo, he's going to try Dylan Cruz now, but this time Dylan is there. There's no way Dylan Cruz is going to be able to get to this next ball. George Springer, he's trying to show that he can still get it done in season 12. I think he's almost 36 years old, which makes me feel old. Easton Lucas, this was his first ever start. 5 shutout with 1 base hit. He didn't have a lot of strikeouts, but he had a ton of swing and miss stuff, which doesn't make sense, but he missed a lot of bats. He just didn't get a lot of them with 2 strikes. CJ Abrams was happy to see him go. He pimped his 2nd of the series, and then CJ gave that run right back. A high throw to home. Miles, he's in there for another Blue Jay run, and is this a walk-off caught stealing? It is. Jacob Young, he can fly, but catcher Tyler Heineman has a hose attached to his body. That is a walk-off caught stealing. So the Blue Jays have won 4 in a row, and I don't do this often, but this game I'm really going to showcase kind of one guy for a little bit. Pete Alonso. He made Juan turn on the turbos for an RBI double, and Pete's going to clutch up again. We're in the 8th inning now with this team down by 3. 113 miles an hour off the bat. That's his 3rd hit of the night at 113 plus miles an hour. Pete now has 8 RBIs his last 3 games. That ball was crushed. Now Miami, they had a play overturned. The Mets, they challenged this. They said that they got Edwards, and the New York broadcast was actually kind of shocked that it went in their favor. It was a super close play at home. Now this pitch wasn't very close at all. Jesse Winker, he gets handed a free RBI on the go-ahead bases loaded walk, and Xavier Edwards, I don't think that he can play shortstop anymore. He cost Miami a double play, which ultimately cost himself a game-tying RBI. Like, he's a stud in the box, but he has negative 11 outs above average since last year, and because of that, Huascar Brazoban, I think I said that right. That's his first career save. The Mets are now 4-3. It should have been a tie ball game with more to play, but Xavier, he ruined it. Speaking of ruining things, Tarek Skubal got screwed by his defense. Like, this should have been the 3rd out, but instead, it's an extra out for the Mariners, and Victor Robles, he capitalized. He launched one, which just stayed in, but I'm actually kind of shocked they didn't call that Colt Keith blunder and error, and if I'm Tarek, I'm kind of mad at that. Dylan Moore, he 100% earned this. He had a crazy swing off of Tarek for a solo home run the other way. That was it off of Tarek, and this home run should have tied it, so it should be just 1-1, but again, for some reason, Colt Keith did a 360 no-scope and then got no one out. Trey Sweeney hit one off of Luis Castillo, and this should have been a go-ahead for Tarek, an RBI ground out for Riley Green, and Tarek, I think he's showing that because he's pitching angry. He struck out the side in the 5th. He left with 8 strikeouts. Luis Castillo's defense did not let him down. They did their thing. He goes 7 innings. He held the Tigers to just those 2 runs, but the Tigers did threaten Javi. He had a pinch hit opportunity. He rolls over with the bases loaded, and Andres Munoz, he's still fighting for his life, but he ends it. I don't know if that was a kick change, a slider, whatever it was gross. Zach Wheeler did not get screwed as he turned one of the more dominant starts of anyone to begin this new year. Torpedo bat Alec Boehm, he got on for Kyle Schwarber, and just a flick of the wrist swing turns into an RBI double for Schwarby. Philly, they went up 2 on a ground out, and somehow they didn't get more in the 5th, even though they had the bases loaded with no outs. Freeland, he struck out Harper, then Boehm, then finished his Houdiniac by striking out Schwarber, so he strikes out the side to end a 0-outs bases loaded jam. Check out Hunter Goodman. He was one of the better minor league catching hitters we've ever seen, honestly. Go look at Hunter Goodman's AAA stats as a catcher. He's now batting .370 with 2 home runs. That was it off of wheels. He ended up striking 2 more after that home run, so he departs after 7 strong frames, just 3 base hits, 10 strikeouts. He had 65% of his pitches thrown for strikes. His splitter has been unhittable. It sets up the fastball. It sets up the sweeper, which makes him even more unhittable. Like, he's just gross. Trey Turner secured his 3rd base hit of the evening with an RBI single. And Edmundo Sosa, I think he's got 4 doubles on the year. And the Phillies just keep doing all of their damage off of relievers. Like, once the starter leaves, that's when they tee off. Edmundo Sosa has 5 RBIs and 15 at-bats. The Phillies are 4-1. This White Sox and Twins game looked like a game straight out of 2020 because it almost got rained out. But because of that, there was like 13 fans in attendance. It was also on a work day. Buxton, he put the Twins up early, 112 off the bat at 445 feet. And mind you, there was a ton of wind, so going that far, it could have gone like 455, maybe 460. Now, staying with the wind, Byron Buxton, I mean, he's watching the ball do crazy things after Nick Maton popped it up, but he recovers. He made the diving play. Harrison Bader, I cannot believe that this is a real sentence in 2025. He now has 3 home runs, which leads the Twins. He has 3 in 5 games after that 3-run home run. Buxton delivered again. He fought off a really tough pitch to drop it in front of a diving Jankowski. Ty France, he makes it a 6th spot for Pablo Lopez, who went 6 shutout before allowing a home run. I'll show this for White Sox fans because I kind of feel bad. That is a Brooks Baldwin solo home run. The Twins take it 6-1, and look at this. How polite is everyone in the AL Central? Every single team in the AL Central is 2-4. How courteous. Defense was the name of the game to start this Rangers and Reds game. Adolis had a shoestring catch for Jack Leiter, and Josh Smith, I mean, one of the more insane plays you're ever going to see for a shortstop. He had to go a long way, and he makes the play. Still talking defense, but this time, not the best defensive plays. A mishap, Jamier just whiffed it, so Jock gets on. I don't know if he would have made that play. But Josh Smith, he's now clutching up with the stick, first with the leather, now with the bat. It's 1-0 for Jack Leiter, who had his perfect game ruined by Ellie. Ellie's off for 3rd after he had a double. He's in there safe. Jack, he left him out there, though. Jack, this has to be his best start as a big leaguer. Really cool to see. He goes 5 scoreless on 70 pitches, 6 strikeouts, 1 hit, but he had to come out early with the blister, and I'm praying that that doesn't linger because blisters, they can be just a big bugaboo for pitchers. Hunter Green had his 500th strikeout, yes, of the game, no, of his career. He had 8 strikeouts over 7. He's looking prime for more Cy Young votes this year. Ellie, look at the all-time range. He ran almost 120 feet to make the sliding snag, but Cincinnati, they do take the tough L as Luke Jackson, I think he's got, 3 saves already. The Rangers are 5-2. The Reds are 2-4. It's kind of cool to see Adam Frazier back in a Buccos uniform. I mean, he had that all-star first half a couple years ago, then got shipped out, and he's been awful since then. That was the only run for either team through the first 4 when Oneil Cruz, look at his stat line. I mean, the batting average hasn't been there, obviously, but he's got 2 home runs and 6 stolen bases already. Both teams started scoring runs, but the Rays couldn't keep up with Pittsburgh, so I'm just going to show Paul 6 stuff because he went 7 innings, only allowed 3 base hits. He didn't walk anyone. He also had 6 strikeouts, so he has a career 1.92 ERA and 183 strikeouts his first 151 innings as a big league pitcher. He also has a 2.3 FIP, which is historically efficient for a guy who's not even 24 years old yet. Scratch that, he's not even 23 years old. He's 22 right now. Dennis Santana, he's rocking the shorts, something like that. They're pants, but they're rolled all the way up to his thighs. He gets his first save as the Pirates, they get their 2nd W of the year. Another recap in the books. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it till the end, do me a favor, it really helps out the channel. Leave a like and subscribe. Again, it helps a lot. I'm gonna stop yapping. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the web gems.
hands. Carlos racing after it. Bader coming in. Carlos.
Julio maybe has a chance at this, and he does.
The lefty. He swings, hits a line shot, and a diving catch by